You can change your finances in just 6 months. Here's how. Have you ever stopped to think that maybe everything you've been taught about money is wrong? That working more hours doesn't always make you richer? That giving up your daily coffee isn't what's going to pull you out of financial crisis? Worse yet, what if the real issue isn't how much you make, but the fact that you don't have a plan? The truth might be hard to hear, but it's freeing. You don't need to make a fortune to achieve financial freedom. What you really need is clarity, direction, and a system that works for you, even when your motivation runs out. In just 6 months, anyone can go from financial chaos to real stability. And more than that, you can start building a solid path toward peace of mind without waiting until retirement. Now, what you're about to see isn't some magic trick. It's a strategy, a step-by-step plan that's practical, human, and powerful. It has already transformed the lives of thousands of regular people. People just like you who got tired of merely getting by. And if you stick with this method all the way through 6 months from now, your life could look completely different. Something that may feel out of reach right now, but is absolutely possible. So let me ask you for one thing. Watch this video until the end. Because if you click away too soon, there's a real chance you'll stay stuck in the same situation for another 6 months. Then another year, maybe even your whole life. But if you stay with me till the end, what you're about to discover could change everything. Core lessons and powerful truths. They never taught us this in school. We learn how to memorize formulas, but not how to plan our own lives. Most people step into the money game completely unprepared, repeating their parents' mistakes, stuck in bad debt, living paycheck to paycheck like it's just how life is supposed to be. But here's the truth. It's not natural to live under the constant weight of monthly bills. That's not a money problem. It's a clarity problem. And that's why real financial education becomes such a powerful tool. The journey to financial freedom doesn't start with a bigger paycheck. It starts with a different mindset. There's a huge difference between living and just surviving. Surviving is when money comes in, stress goes up, and by the end of the month, there's nothing left. Living is when you understand the game, take control of your numbers, and make decisions with purpose. It's when you trade instant gratification for long-term goals and swap impulsive spending for smart investing. People who think long-term find peace of mind. Those stuck in short-term thinking are always one bill away from panic. The difference is in how you use your time, your money, and more than anything, your mental energy. Most people don't realize this, but your greatest asset isn't in your bank account. It's in your mental clarity. Knowing what to do, why to do it, and when to do it. That's what breaks the cycle of financial paralysis. But here's the catch. A lot of people suffer from something called decision fatigue. The more choices you make in a day, the easier it becomes to make the wrong ones. And that's when things unravel. You spend when you shouldn't, skip saving, and your financial plan falls apart. That's why automating your finances isn't a luxury. It's a survival strategy. It's how you fight back against chaos and disorganization. But this journey isn't just about personal finance. It's about self-discovery. It's about reclaiming your sense of worth. It's realizing you don't have to follow the default path society lays out for you. You can build a life that's intentional, based on your values, not someone else's. That means rethinking your priorities, building new habits, and even questioning everything you've been taught about money. Because sometimes what you were taught is exactly what's keeping you stuck. And that's okay. What's not okay is staying stuck when you know there's a better way. So now you might be asking yourself, where do I start? The answer is simple, but not necessarily easy. You start by facing the truth you've been avoiding for years, your real financial situation. And that brings us to the next step, looking at the numbers head on. That's when you stop walking through life blindfolded and start moving forward with intention. Next month, we're going to tear down the illusion and confront the ostrich effect once and for all. And don't worry, you're going to come out of this stronger than ever. Month 1, face your financial reality. The first major breakthrough happens the moment you stop running and start facing your finances head on. Most people live as if avoiding the problem is the same as solving it. That mindset even has a name, the ostrich effect. It's when you ignore your bank statement, avoid checking your credit card app, or pretend that notification from the bank never popped up. But here's the truth. What you don't face controls you, and what you do face, it starts to lose its power. That's the moment chaos gives way to clarity. Now, let's be clear. Facing your reality isn't about punishing yourself. It's about setting yourself free. And that starts with what we call the core four, your 4 key numbers. These are the foundation of any solid financial plan. First, your net income. How much actually land to your account after taxes? Second, your essential expenses, housing, food, transportation, the things that keep your life running. Third, how much you're already setting aside for savings or investments. And finally, your fun spending, your joy money. These 4 numbers give you a clear x-ray of how you're really managing your money. And no, you can't just guess. Use a spending tracker, a spreadsheet, or apps like Organize, Mobiles, or even good old Excel. The goal is to turn vague feelings into solid data. I think I don't spend much on delivery becomes I spent $432 on takeout just this month. That is power, because you can only change what you measure. And when you've got the numbers in your hands, you've got control over your life. Now, fair warning, this process might feel uncomfortable. You might be shocked or even a little embarrassed by what you find. But hey, shame doesn't pay the bills. Clarity does. Realizing you're spending 35% of your income on entertainment while you've got no emergency fund, that's not a reason to beat yourself up. It's a reason to celebrate, because now you know, and knowing gives you the chance to act with purpose. Like they say, pain is temporary, but ignorance, that charges interest. And once your eyes are open, there's no going back to sleep. This is the point of no return. From here on out, things start to shift. You're no longer stumbling in the dark. Now you've got a map, a compass, and a sense of direction. And speaking of direction, next month, we'll build your first financial wall of protection between you and chaos. Yep, it's time to start saving. Not to look responsible, but to buy something no one can ever take from you. Freedom. Month 2, save 1 month of essential expenses. Now that you face your reality and know exactly where you stand, it's time to build your first line of defense. Saving enough to cover 1 full month of your essential expenses. Sound simple? Maybe. But here's the truth. Simple is what works. The goal is clear. Set aside enough to cover your basic needs for 30 days without relying on anyone else. This isn't just about having money in the bank. It's about peace of mind. It's being able to sleep well, knowing that if something happens tomorrow, you're not completely exposed. Let's break it down. Say your numbers show you spend about $2,500 a month on essentials, rent, food, transportation, and fixed bills. That's your first target. Nothing fancy. Nothing unrealistic. You're not trying to save a fortune overnight. You're doing what most people never do, building a solid financial foundation. And to do that, yes, you're going to have to cut. Cut what? Subscriptions you don't use. Impulse takeout orders. Boredom shopping. All of it's got to go for now. But listen closely. Saving isn't punishment. It's freedom in disguise. It's the conscious decision to say no today, so you can say yes with confidence tomorrow. The biggest mistake you can make here is believing this has to be perfect. It doesn't. If you can't save it all in 1 month, do it in 2 or 3. Just don't lie to yourself. Taking longer is fine, as long as it doesn't become an excuse to stay on autopilot. The difference between someone who builds wealth and someone who stays broke, it's often how quickly they're willing to take action. Now's the perfect time for a mindset shift. Stop thinking of saving as a sacrifice. Start thinking of it as a purchase. And what are you buying? Financial freedom, autonomy, peace of mind. When you skip the new sneakers and put that money toward your emergency fund, you're not holding yourself back. You're making yourself stronger. You're trading short-term comfort for long-term emotional dignity. And honestly, that's one of the most powerful acts of self-respect you can make. Now that you've built this first layer of protection, you're ready to climb the next step, because protecting what you have is important, but moving forward is non-negotiable. There's no point in building a wall if you're still carrying a bomb inside the house. And what bomb am I talking about? Bad debt, It's time to face it. And you'll soon realize, contrary to what you've been told, paying off debt isn't just a responsibility, it's a strategy. And when done right, it's freedom. Month 3, eliminate bad debt and build your emergency fund. If there's one thing that drains your energy, steals your peace, and holds back your growth, it's bad debt. But here's what most people don't realize. Not all debt is evil. Some debt has a purpose, like a low-interest mortgage or investing in your education to increase your income. That kind of debt can actually push your life forward. But maxed out credit cards, personal loans charging 12% interest a month, that's not a tool. That's a trap. And the sooner you get out of it, the lighter your path will become. So what's the first step? Separate the good from the bad. List out every single debt you have, all of them. Then organize them from highest interest rate to lowest. Anything charging above 8% a year needs your full attention right now. And no, spreading small payments across all of them won't cut it. You need to go all in on one, while making minimum payments on the rest. This is called strategic financial focus. Here's a real-world example. Let's say you owe $4,000 on a credit card with 13% monthly interest. Drop everything. Throw everything extra you got at that debt, using the leftover income from your Core 4 budget, the one you created back in month 1. That extra money, the one that used to go to dinners out, impulse buys, or a bunch of harmless little payments, it now becomes a fuel for your freedom. And with every debt you crush, you'll feel like you can breathe again. Literally. Once you cleared it, amazing. But don't stop there. Now that the weight is gone, it's time to build your safety net, your emergency fund. The goal? Save enough to cover 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. If you've got a stable job, aim for 3. If you're self-employed or your income is unpredictable, go for 6 right away. And where should you keep that money? Someplace safe, accessible, and that earns more than a basic savings account. A good option? High-yield accounts from trusted digital banks. Many offer returns above 100% of the CDI. Now, once you're free of bad debt and protected by your emergency fund, something amazing happens. You feel a shift inside. You breathe differently. You sleep differently. Because now you're not just surviving. You're building. And with a strong foundation under you, it's time to climb higher. This is where the real wealth-building game begins. And for that, you're about to step into a brand new world. Smart investing. Month 4, start investing. Now it's time to stop playing defense and go on the offense. With your bad debt gone and your emergency fund in place, you're finally ready to start planting the seeds of your future. Investing. And this is the point where most people freeze. I don't know anything about that. What if I lose money? Shouldn't I wait just a little longer? That wait a little longer mindset is what keeps 90% of people stuck in the same financial reality for decades. Investing isn't about knowing everything. It's about starting small, learning as you go, and letting time do the heavy lifting. Now, if your job offers retirement benefits like employer match programs, don't think twice. That's free money. For every dollar you invest, if your employer matches it, that's an instant 100% return. You can't beat that. After that, focus on investments that offer tax advantages. Living in Brazil? Start learning about Tesoro Dorito, LCIs, or real estate funds. In the US? Look into Roth IRAs. In the UK? Check out ISAs. The point is simple. The right investment vehicles help you pay less in taxes and keep more of your profits. Now, let's talk about the biggest enemy for beginners, fear. So many people think they need to become experts, read charts, and follow analysts. Nope. Smart investing is about choosing vehicles that work over time. ETFs and index funds, like the S&P 500, are great examples. They automatically spread your money across hundreds, sometimes thousands of companies, which reduces risk and helps you grow with the overall market. Here's the gold. Over the past 20 years, the S&P 500 has delivered an average return of 10.5% per year. Pretty solid, right? But remember, just because you're investing now doesn't mean you stop funding your emergency savings. This is where balance comes into play. Start with something simple. Put 70% toward your emergency fund and 30% toward investments. Later, go 50/50ths. And once your safety net is fully built, you can flip the ratio. Go all in on growth if you want. That's smart financial automation. You don't have to choose between security and growth. You can have both, as long as you've got a plan and stick to it with discipline. By this point, you'll notice something powerful. Your entire relationship with money is changing. You're no longer afraid of the future. You're excited about it. But then comes the big question. How do I speed things up? How do I pour even more fuel into this plan? And this is where many people get stuck, because they're still chained to a fixed salary that barely keeps up with inflation. So now, let's talk about something that could completely change your reality: increasing your income. Month 5, increase your income. Some people think the secret is just cutting expenses. But here's the thing, cutting has a limit. Earning more, that is no ceiling. When you increase your income, you're not just speeding up your investments. You're creating more breathing room, more options, more power over your future. Now that your financial house is in order, you're ready for this next step. And here's a question that can change everything. Is your current job offering you growth, or at least a chance to learn something new? If the answer is neither, then what are you still doing there? Staying in a place that doesn't challenge or expand you is the fastest path to stagnation. Changing jobs is one of the most direct ways to boost your income, and the data backs it up. People who switch jobs tend to see bigger salary increases than those who stay waiting for recognition. But maybe you can't or don't want to leave your current job right now. That's okay. There's another path, and it's powerful. Extra income. We've never lived in a time with so much opportunity to turn your skills, passions, or even hobbies into cash flow. It could be freelancing, offering services online, selling products, or creating digital content. And don't underestimate the power of a small amount. Even an extra $50 or $100 a month can make a real difference when it's consistently invested. Let's say you invest $100 every month into an S&P 500 ETF, earning an average of 10% per year. In 10 years, you won't just have what you saved. You'll have a growing asset working for you. That's passive income. That's financial freedom, built from small, consistent steps. The difference between people who achieve and those who just dream? Execution. Now's also the perfect time to look inward and take inventory of what you've got. What skills do you have that are valuable in the market? Maybe you're good at writing. Maybe you can teach something. Maybe you're great with tech, art, food, languages. Today's digital world gives you the chance to start something of your own. Low cost, high potential. You can launch a simple page, offer a service, land a first client. And that's not just more money. That's personal growth, confidence, and maybe even a new purpose in life. But here's what comes next. As your income grows, the next challenge shows up. And it's no longer about making more. It's about keeping your progress. Because the more money you make, the more tempting it becomes to overspend. The difference between those who build wealth and those who sabotage it comes down to one thing: creating an automatic system to protect your income. That's exactly what we're diving into next. Let's move to month 6, where financial high performance isn't about doing more. It's about doing less with smarter systems. Month 6, automate and optimize. Now that you build a solid foundation, increase your income, and started investing, it's time to eliminate the friction between you and your financial goals. And how do you do that? With smart financial automation. Believe it or not, the secret isn't discipline. It's learning how not to rely on it. Every time you have to manually decide whether to invest, save, pay a bill, or transfer money, you're using up your limited mental energy. And over time, decision fatigue sets in. You start procrastinating, forgetting, or just skipping the task altogether. The result? You feel stuck, even when you're trying. That's why automation becomes your most powerful ally. Start with fixed bills, rent, electricity, internet, insurance, subscriptions. Set up automatic payments for everything you can. It protects your credit and saves you from late fees. Then, automate your transfers to savings and investment accounts. Do this right after you get paid. This is called paying yourself first. When the money leaves your account before you even see it, temptation fades and consistency takes over. Wealth doesn't come from luck. It comes from routine. One of the mind's biggest tricks is making you believe, this time I'll be more disciplined. But true self-control? It's about building a system that doesn't depend on willpower. So create separate accounts. One for fixed expenses, one for investments, one for fun. You can even use a separate card for your fun money. That way, when it's gone, you know it's gone. This simple structure turns your financial life into a clear game, and games with clear rules are easier to win. But automation alone isn't enough. You also need to review and adjust. Everything changes: your income, goals, lifestyle, even your dreams. So every 3 to 6 months, do a financial check-in. Ask yourself, are my contributions still aligned with my goals? Did my income go up? Can I invest more? Are there better opportunities one should explore? This ongoing reflection is what transforms ordinary people into high performers. It's not about doing something once and forgetting it. It's about refining, evolving, and growing. And once your financial life starts running on autopilot, something powerful happens. Your mind becomes free to dream bigger. You shift out of survival mode and into growth mode. And that's when you begin to taste something rare, inner peace with outer prosperity. But this is just the beginning, because now, with everything running smoothly, it's time to look back at how far you've come and look forward with even more drive. Because in just 6 months, everything can change. And now, it's time to tie it all together. Now that you have the full roadmap in your hands, let me ask you honestly, are you going to keep living on autopilot? Or will you take full control of your financial life? Because the truth is, the world isn't going to pause so you can get organized. The bills won't wait. Time won't stop. And that future you dream about, it'll only come closer if you start walking toward it. Right now, you have a level of clarity that most people spend a lifetime chasing. You've learned about net income, bad debt, essential expenses, automation, emergency funds, investing, increasing income, and building financial freedom. But knowledge alone doesn't change your life. Action does. So tell me, what's your first step going to be? Opening a spending tracker? Canceling that useless subscription? Applying for a new job? Starting a side hustle? Whatever it is, start today. And let me ask you something else. Why wait another 6 months to change, when you could start now and be in a completely different place by the end of the year? You deserve to live with peace, with safety, with freedom. But that reality takes courage. It takes action. It takes movement. So if this video sparks something in you, don't ignore it. Use that energy. Take that step, even if it's a small one. Now, I've got one last invitation for you. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Every Sunday, we post new content, built with strategy, heart, and a mission to help you build a life of meaning, intention, and freedom. And if this video helped you, share it with someone who needs it too. Because sometimes the action you take for yourself ends up being the spark that changes someone else's world.